Hi, my name's Rob Scott from CX Today, and thank you for joining me. So it goes without saying that contact center leaders need to create fast, responsive, and frictionless experiences for customers. Second, the ability to switch between channels is also quickly becoming table stakes in today's world. So in this interview, we're going to be going next level by discussing what happens when companies fuse customer experience with employee experience for more memorable customer interactions. Now, my guest today has many years' experience in customer experience and SaaS technologies and is AVP for Product Marketing at RingCentral. Welcome, Gaitri.
Thank you, Rob. Very excited to be part of the show.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Great to see you. And looking forward to today's session. How about we just start with a quick personal bio and a little bit about RingCentral, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Gaitri. I go by G3. I run product marketing for customer experience portfolio here at RingCentral. And I've had this great opportunity in my career to do customer experience in different flavors. I have worked on CRM side of the house and Service Cloud and contact centers, BPOs, and also recently with RingCentral, where you bring the power of unified communications with contact center together. RingCentral, as you all know, is a market leader in unified communications with fully integrated contact center. I'm very excited to be a part of this discussion today.
Fantastic. So to set the scene, let's start with the CX and EX. What do we mean when we say that fusing CX and EX?
So I'm going to go back to what we used to tell in the contact center world for like several years now, which is happy agents make happy customers, right? So it's a beautiful virtuous cycle. You're interacting with an agent. You want to empower the agent, enable the agent, create a collaborative environment for the agent to really solve for customer issues. We want to make that experience for the agent so easy and effortless that it kind of shows in the customer experience, right? So if you take it to the next level, it's really thinking about not just agents who are the people that you talk to when you call a contact center, but really thinking about everybody in the company, all the employees. Think of them as people who will interact with a customer. Make CX really a team sport. So empower every single employee in your organization with tools and ability to connect with a customer and create that magic moment for customers. So again, it's this experience of bringing communication and collaboration, kind of unifying it, be it your employee, your customer, or your partner. That's how I look at it. And it's a great multiplier effect in it. And we really think of it as connected experiences between what's happening within the company in terms of interaction with your employees and how it impacts CX.
Great. And speaking of magical moments, I mean, it doesn't always go right. I mean, automating, CX environments, adding technology into the mix, can go wrong. And so sticking to today's theme of CX and EX, I'm interested to hear about, how far organizations should take the kind of automation piece nowadays.
Yeah. This topic of get more from less is kind of a constant pressure, and contact center leaders are always trying to balance this experience, the great experience. You want to deliver the best experience, but at the same time, you cannot throw a lot of money at it. So you're balancing cost and experience all the time. It's a juggling act. So when it comes to automation, I think it's so important to make sure that we're not, really pulling down the experience in this whole exercise. So that's very critical. So really thinking of specific use cases where you think that it's okay to not have that high touch relation. That's where you kind of automate and put a bot in front of a customer. But then if it's really important, critical, and you want those high touch interactions, you want to absolutely give them to an agent who and create that that magical moment that you keep talking about, which is so important, and kind of humanizing, right, that interaction. So that making sure that the automation is not taking out the great experience from the equation. That's important. And the second thing I would think about when you look at automation is we have a lot of focus on customer-facing automation, and what I mean by that is, really using the power of data, intent, AI to make sure that you have a self-service option for a customer through bots, or it could even be through other mechanisms like, feeding knowledge as a customer comes to a website. How do you feed knowledge to them so that you don't even have to use a bot, right? So thinking of different ways of automating from a customer facing side, but also what I would say is more important is also thinking about the agent side of the equation. So how can you make things easy, automated, efficient, effective for an agent, right? So it could come in a few ways. So one thing could be, making sure that the agent has a lot of, RPA based tools that can do automation, just this mundane tasks of updating data to the backend systems like CRM. So once the call is over, how do you push all that information to multiple systems? That could be done by automated RPA. Or we could take it to the next level of really thinking about, based on the intent of the conversation with natural language processing, and AI, how do I really surface the right knowledge articles, FAQs? How do I give agents the right tools so that they are much more efficient in the moment, right, when they are talking to the customer, right? So really looking at both agent and the customer side of automation is going to be important.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, just because you can automate doesn't mean you have to automate, right?
Yeah.
It's that's a key point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, something else I've been hearing about amongst the AI conversations in the customer experience space nowadays is kind of humanizing customer experiences. So humanizing customer journeys seems to be another way to make really memorable and magical experiences. So how can companies maximize the human touch between customers and agents?
Yeah. One thing is to keep adding bots, but it's so important to look at the other side of the equation, right? So I think making as the customer, thinking about a customer journey, it's interesting data to say that 80% of the time, you and I as end customers, we don't go to a contact center, right? So we either use an FAQ or Google, or we use bots. So it's pretty interesting. So what we want to make sure is when they go to an agent, that experience, that they really tried all the other options. So when they go to an agent, it's important to make sure that it's much more of a personalized conversation. So the first thing obviously is making sure that you're connecting the right agent to the right customer to solve the problem at hand. So we've had traditionally a lot of investments in skills-based routing in contact centers. Where we're going is really taking it beyond skills, beyond, if I have a question on a specific product, I'm going to be routed to an agent who specializes in a product, which is great. Now, what we're trying to do is really match personalities to. I think it's a great evolution in routing. And really thinking about multiple attributes on personality level as well. I think that's one area where I feel like, the investments in making sure that there's this human element. And again, going back to the idea of giving everything that your employee needs. So that's one. And the second thing I would say when it comes to humanizing is really making sure that your agent is really looking to solve the customer issue, is engaged, and is not bothered about looking at the desktop and the data and all of that. Really giving the agents everything that they need in terms of know your customer, right? So know the path. How did they come? Where did they go before talking to me? How long have they been a customer? What products have they bought? What was the last call? So really giving all that information right at the fingertips instead of literally looking at your desktop, focus on the customer. So that's important. So giving them the tools, giving that unified, easy to use interface is important. And the last thing, which is kind of fundamental, is training. And skills-based training is one. So much investment in soft skills based training for agents. But where we see advancement is really pinpointing the areas where they need specific training So really looking at data and looking at each of the interactions, there's really very sophisticated AI products now where they have real-time interaction guidance, where agent is given real-time guidance on what the emotion of the customer is. They're frustrated, there you go, there's this red thing which pops up, or telling them about slowing down as they speak, or telling them be more empathetic. So really bringing coaching through the power of data and AI. So I think that's a great revolution, I would say. We've come a long way in even making coaching adaptive, coaching real-time, intent-based. So all of these, I think, go a long way in making sure that there's the human aspect, and we're able to connect the customer and the agent at the moment.
Yeah, I find it fascinating how far we've come in the world of kind of speech analytics and data analytics in the contact center space. It can do so much in now real time rather than kind of looking back at everything. So
Exactly.
fantastic for training and skills. So in terms of these environments, I mean, they're getting much more complex, aren't they? With all these digital channels, we've still got voice in there. So in terms of maintaining balance in these environments and still maintaining kind of that awesome employee and customer experience, what advice would you give there?
In digital environments, right, it's definitely becoming more complex. Well, we all started with voice-based contact centers, and right now I can't even keep track of the digital channels that we have. 30, 40, literally products now. Nowadays, look at multiple channels, Instagram, WeChat, and web chat, and all of those, which again is still an agent and a customer talking in a digital channel. And where the world is going is this next layer of digital, which is bots, self-service. And in bots, it's not just your bot that pops up in a web chat, but it's also really subtle ways of creating that self-service. Could be having intent-based knowledge management solution, where a customer comes to a website, they are based on the intent, they are taken to multiple parts so they can, their question is answered, right? So really this evolution in channel, as you can see. And the complexity is going to be multiple levels, right? So if you kind of take it at a simple level of what it is for the customer, now it's multiple. It's not just an agent. It's not just the channel. Now it's bots. Really thinking about how can I make sure that the journey is I'm not repeating that. It's not a 21 questions game anymore. So really making sure that the customer is identified wherever they come from, and that includes bots and other things beyond the contact center now, giving that seamless experience, omni-channel experience. And what if a bot fails? What if a digital channel fails? How do I seamlessly elevate? So that's the customer side of experience, customer experience side. On the agent side, it's really think about an agent who's been just doing voice. Now they were given more channels to do, and now it's okay. Now bots. Now how do you really know what the bot interaction was with the customer? So really getting all that information to an agent, giving the tools for an agent so they can pivot to any channel which is best for them to resolve the question that the customer has. So for example, if somebody comes through chat, they have a broken modem, and you want to just elevate to video to see how to troubleshoot and fix it right there, right? So ability to pivot across channels, ability to get data on insights from bots, all of those are important. And also from an operations perspective, thinking of bots and agents as two different entities who's kind of doing the job of managing customer experience. So how do you train bots? How do you manage bots? Where do you put bots? What are the best use cases? So really, that's the level of complexity. If you kind of parse it in terms of employees or agents and customers and operations, these are kind of the big challenges. And all you're looking for is just not looking at digital as adding one channel, but look at it as a much more of a larger strategy. Just got to be more tops down, and bottoms up, right? Thinking of digital in every aspect of training and coaching and monitoring and scheduling and all of those operational aspects, analytics, all of those. So really, really breaking that digital silo is going to be important for contact centers as they move to the next phase.
Yeah, lots to think about there, but some great advice nonetheless. So last question. So just to summarize things, what results can businesses expect if they get all this right?
I would say the North Star metric here is going to be CSAT. And what we see based on research, again, is very strong correlation between ESAT and CSAT. So absolutely, if you look at top performing companies, you would say CSAT, and then ESAT is very critical. And the third one I would say is still ROI, because, again, this balancing act of CX and cost. So to me, those would be the top three: CSAT, ESAT, and ROI.
Fantastic. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. However, we have created an ebook called Making Magical Moments in CX for you all to take away. So please do have a look in the description. There's a link to the ebook just there. But thanks, Gaitri. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights and advice.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for the opportunity. Wonderful chatting with you.
And thank you to everyone watching CX today. If you've got some good takeaways from today's session, do give us a quick mention on social and subscribe to our channel for more industry news and insights. I'm Rob Scott from CX Today. Thanks for watching.